Oh my god, we're at chapter 22. Kevin is still helping me out when someone else shows up to my boutique as well. Kane? Oh, Sarah. I thought she was ill. Sarah enters the room. I knew it, you're both still working. Kevin looks up from the crafting table. At first, he's happy to see her, then he frowns. Aren't you supposed to be resting at home? I nod in agreement. Yeah, I thought you said you were feeling a little sick. Oh, come on, I was bored and I didn't think it was fair that you two were having this much fun without me. Sarah rubs her nose. She does sound like she has an oncoming cold. We're having so much fun without you here. A ton, I say sarcastically, holding up a pair of scissors. Kevin walks up to Sarah, putting his hand on her forehead. You feel a little warm. You shouldn't be out here, not in this rain. Bashfully, Sarah looks away. That's a first to see her this shy all of a sudden. Well, when you're sick, you feel like a little bit more vulnerable. It's alright, I bought an umbrella. Yeah, Sarah, it's already late. We're about to clean up anyways. Let Kevin walk you home, I say. How about we get you some fruit and medicine on the way there, Kevin suggests. You're both worrywarts. I'm fine. Sarah dismisses our concerns. I'd rather not have Sarah help me out when she's getting sick. Getting her home safe and medicated sounds like a good idea. We can go to Boone Mart together, I pitch the idea. With ulterior motives, yeah. Sarah grins at me. You just want to see Kane, don't you? Yes, I answer honestly. Huh? Look at you being all confident. Sarah looks surprised. Well, I got into a little fight with him and I want to apologize. Sarah tilts her head to the side. What did you do? I don't think it matters at this point. Valky just wants to apologize. We should help her out. Should we all head there together? You're a good egg, Kevin. Sounds like a good idea, Kevin. I smile at him. Alright, Kevin, you can share an umbrella with me. Sarah shows the small umbrella in her hand. I sheepishly shuffle my feet on the floor. I'm not even sure Kane's working tonight. Only one way to find out. Sarah winks at me. We all leave Olympus together. I can feel myself growing anxious. I hope Kane won't be too mad at me. It's already dark outside. I didn't realize I was working for so long. I should have sent Kevin home a while ago. Rubbing my eyes and yawning, I step out into the rain with my umbrella. Sarah and Kevin share one together. Oh. I can't help but smile at them. They're very cute like this. I really hope Kane is working late today. I don't like not talking to him. It makes me feel on edge all day. You know, you have a phone. You can text and call him if you don't want it to be so impersonal as a text. Thankfully, we don't have to walk in the rain for too long before we arrive at Boone Mart. Even before I step foot inside, I know something is off. The air feels tense. Crash. The three of us are alarmed by a loud clattering of glass falling to the floor. What's going on? I quickly run towards the aisle the sound came from, stepping onto broken glass. There's Thomas, holding Kane up by his collar, pushing him into a stack of beer bottles. Everything inside of me freezes up. Ooh, we're gonna fucking deck him. I don't hesitate to wield the umbrella like a bat in my hands. I clench it tightly and raise it above my head, striking a blow on top of Thomas's head. He immediately lets go of Kane, who falls down onto the floor, riddled with glass. Thomas stumbles around in a daze. Don't you fucking touch him, I bite out at Thomas. What's going on? Sarah catches up to me and surveys the situation. Kane finally makes eye contact with me. Oh no, his face is all bruised. I push the stupefied Thomas out of my way and rush over to Kane. Are you okay? Kane seems shocked at my sudden intrusion, as if he's unable to process what's happened. You fucking bitch, you hit me, Thomas roars, appearing from behind me. Suddenly, I'm grabbed by my shirt and pulled away from Kane. I yelp out loud in response as Thomas throws me across the floor, away from Kane. Sarah quickly softens my blow with her body, preventing me from sliding further away. Hey, stop that, Kevin yells out. I get up from the floor, adrenaline pumping through my veins. He hurt Kane, and all I see is red. He beat Kane, I cry out, you coward. He's swaying on his feet. Sarah threateningly holds her umbrella in her hand, pointing it at the staggering Thomas. He's barely able to stay upright on his feet. The stench coming from his body also makes it as clear as day. He's completely drunk. You're also annoying, he roars as he knocks down a few more beers from the shelf. Fucking pests that need to die. No one's touching my friends, you asshole. You take one more step and I will fucking end you. You hear that? Sarah spits at him with a venom I didn't realize she was capable of. Really? She's always talking about punching people. I'm calling the police, says Kevin in a steady voice, already dialing the number on his phone. Thomas loses all sense of composure and growls out loud. Pulling his fist back, he charges right at me, intending to strike. Sarah quickly uses the handle of the umbrella to hook it around his legs, tripping the brute monster. He lands onto the tiled floor with a loud groan. Glass bounces around from the impact of his body. You stay down. Sarah points the end of the umbrella towards his face as a warning. You better not try anything, I growl at him. Thomas grunts loudly and whacks the umbrella away with his hand. Quickly he gets up from the floor, glass falling from his body. I back away from him. But he doesn't go for me this time. He turns around and charges straight at Kane, who hasn't moved from his spot this entire time. Thomas grabs Kane by his apron and effortlessly pulls him up to his feet. "No, leave Kane alone," Kevin yells. My heart beats fast like a drum. It's so loud I can't hear anything else. I have to protect Kane at all costs. Disregarding my own safety, I throw all my reason out the window and jump on Thomas's back, hooking my arms around his neck. But I'm not the only one to throw themselves onto Thomas. Sarah tackles his midriff, pushing him away from Kane. Thomas stumbles backwards, unable to throw me off and shake Sarah off him. It takes all my strength to stay on Thomas's back and keep him in a headlock. Combined with Sarah holding him down as well, Thomas is unable to wrestle free. "Get off me, you stinking hose." "Good one," he bellows. Thomas grabs Sarah by her hair. "Ah," she yells out in pain, releasing Thomas's midriff. And all of a sudden, Kevin is in front of us. "Ha!" he roars as he delivers a punch square into Thomas's face. It knocks him off his feet and I quickly jump off his back, letting the rotten man fall back down onto the floor. Kevin puts his arms out in front of me and Sarah, staring down at Thomas. "You're not going to lay a hand on any of them ever again. Leave us alone." Kevin looks back at us, concern etched all over his face. Why isn't he a love interest? "Girls, are you okay?" "I'm fine, but this oaf is going down," Sarah answers. "I'm in complete agreement with that," I yell. Thomas doesn't seem like he's going to stay down. The man picks himself up from the floor again. He looks so menacing and big. But I don't care. I'm going to do whatever it takes. "The police are on their way," Kevin explains in a clear voice. Thomas takes a few seconds to decide whether he wants to punch Kevin right in the face or if he wants to heed his warning and escape. The drunk then turns around and makes a quick getaway from the store. Kevin takes a deep breath of relief. He left. "That coward. We should have restrained him until the cops showed up," says Sarah with a huff. "Agreed. He needs to be locked up. That man is dangerous," I say. "You two have way more fighting spirit than I do," Kevin sighs. He then shakes his right hand a little, as if just now realizing he's punched Thomas. My hand really hurts. I've never punched somebody before. Could fool me. Finally, I turn around to check up on Kane, who's been eerily quiet this entire ordeal. He's standing far away, his back against one of the coolers, eyes still wide from shock. "Kane, are you okay?" I ask, deeply concerned about him. I reach my hand out towards his bruised lip, but Kane suddenly snaps back to reality and jumps away from me. "Don't touch me," he screams. Surprised by his sudden outburst, I shut my mouth and take a step back from him. "But Kane," I start weakly, "you're hurt. Let me—" "I said don't fucking touch me," he hisses. "What the hell, Kane? We're concerned about you. Don't yell at Valky," Sarah pipes in. He glares at Sarah, then at Kevin, and finally his eyes land on me. There's a look of utter disgust on Kane's face, and I feel my heart break into pieces. Before I can get another word in, Kane bolts right out of the store. "Kane!" I yell after him. "Where's he going?" Kevin asks. "The police will be here any second." I nod my head at both of them. "I'm going after him. You both stay here." This music is so loud. With the umbrella in my hand, I disappear out of the store as well. The umbrella shields me as I step outside into the rainfall. A blurry figure in the distance runs away. Kane's footsteps are hard to make out in this downpour, but it's him all right. Why is he running away? I rush after him. Eventually, I turn into an alley. It's a dead end. Kane's got nowhere else to go. He's huddled next to a cardboard box, getting soaked from the rain. I can't see his face. He's resting it on his arms. I stand in front of him, covering the both of us with the umbrella. "Kane," I say softly. He doesn't look up at me. "Go away," he grunts. "Kane, are you okay?" Finally, he lifts up his head. "I said go away," his voice cracks. The droplets of rain roll down the umbrella, keeping us locked in a makeshift waterfall. He's shivering. I can't tell whether it's because he's cold or because he's in pain. Or maybe something else entirely. "I'm not going away," I tell him my honest feelings. "Just leave me alone. I don't need you to look after me," he hisses. I tighten my grip on the umbrella as a sense of dread looms over me. Kane is hurt and he's lashing out at the people who want to help him. What can I do? "I'm worried, Kane. I want to know if you're okay." "I'm not okay," he barks at me. He's like a feral cat cornered in an alley with no escape. "Just let me see, please." My hand reaches out for him, but he smacks it away. "You'll just think I'm pathetic," he exclaims. I'm taken aback. "Pathetic?" Kane turns his head away from me. His eyebrows are furrowed into a frown so deep I'm afraid it'll be stuck permanently. "Don't look at me," he says, his voice wavering. He digs the palms of his hands into the sockets of his eyes. "Just stop," he sniffs. "I don't want you to see how much of a loser I really am." Another sniffle. My heart breaks seeing Kane like this. I crouch down to his level, tossing the umbrella behind me. Tossing the umbrella behind me, I wrap my arms around his neck and pull him into my body. Kane immediately pushes his hands against my shoulders. "No, I said don't," he cries out. His body is shaking violently, his shivers transferring over to me. He's not calming down. The rain clatters all around us. "Don't push me away, Kane. It's okay," I say in a soothing voice. Kane still tries to wiggle out of my embrace, but he's losing the will to struggle. I bury my hand into his hair and push his face against my shoulder. "Shh, it's okay. You're allowed to feel hurt and scared. I'm here. You're safe." Kane hiccups. "Valky, please," he begs. I rub my other hand across his back, trying to calm him down. "Please don't hate me," he says in a wavering voice. He's on the verge of tears. "I won't. I'm here," I reassure him, still stroking his back. Kane's hands turn into tiny balls, resting limply against my chest. He drops his head against my shoulder, clenching his teeth in defeat. At first, I don't hear anything at all, aside from the droplets of rain, but then it starts. Kane's first cries pierce my soul. He heaves. I tighten my embrace around him, shushing softly into his ear. Kane grips the fabric of my shirt with his desperate hands, clinging onto me as if I'm his lifeline. His cries get smothered in my shirt. "I can never do anything," he cries. "It's okay," I whisper. Why were you there?" he questions through his sobbing. "Why'd you have to see me like this?" "It's okay, it's not your fault," I repeat. Nothing is his fault. Kane is just a victim in all this, subjected to violence from a monster, broken repeatedly and all alone, but no longer. "I'm here for you, we all are." Kane continues to cry against my shoulder, each sob louder than the one before. His tears mix in with the rain as if the world is crying with him. I've never had a boy cry in front of me before, and I'm a little lost. It's the same as a girl crying in front of you? Like, why is it different? However, knowing that this is Kane, I'm going to do everything I can to support him. I bury my face into his mane of wet hair and close my eyes. I want to protect him at all costs. Seeing him cry breaks something inside of me. It's like a part of my heart is crying with him. And I know why. Because I love him. Ooh. "Shh, I'm not going anywhere," I whisper. Kane's cries falter little by little, though the emotional turmoil is still very much present. Then he snakes his arms around my neck, tightening his grip on me, as if he's afraid I'll run off and abandon him. He rests his chin on the top of my shoulder, letting out small hiccups. "I hate this," he says slowly. I continue to stroke his soaked back. "I hate how I can't do anything," he murmurs. "That's what we're here for. We're going to make sure it never happens again. No one's going to hurt you anymore." Kane sinks his face into my hair, holding me close. The poor guy is still shivering. "You're not alone anymore, Kane," I say. My words cut him deep as he once more cries out loud. "Thank you," he sobs. You have no idea how long I've waited to hear those words." His voice is turning hoarse from all the crying. "Well, it's about time," I say while smiling. "You went all fucking Rambo on him. You're crazy." He sniffs weakly. I end up laughing out loud. If Kane can joke at a time like this, that means I'm doing something right. "Sarah helped," I point out. "You're both loonies." I finally pull away from Kane so I can get a good look at him. His eyes are puffy and red from crying. His hair sticks to his forehead, slick and wet. "And I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat," I say honestly. Kane rubs his nose with his arm, looking rather weak still. I shoot him an encouraging smile. It takes him some effort, but Kane flashes me a crooked smile back. "What do you say we go back and get out of this rain?" "But they'll see me like this," he protests. "Sarah and Kevin." He nods weakly. The tears have finally stopped running. I brush away the hair sticking on his face and lean forwards. I plant a small kiss on his forehead. "All they're gonna see is a friend in need. They're worried about you too." I grab my forgotten umbrella and stand up from the ground. Extending a hand to Kane, I smile at him. "Come on." A little dazed still, Kane accepts my offer and I lift him up from the dirt. He awkwardly stands next to me under the umbrella, trembling slightly. I tug on his hand and escort him back to the convenience store. I never let go of his hand the entire way over there. The first thing I see when we return is the police car parked outside. "There you two are," Sarah exclaims. She rushes up to Kane and throws her arms around him. "You little twerp, why'd you go running off? We were worried." Kane freezes up as he gets squished by Sarah's bear hug. "You alright, Kane?" asks Kevin, also worried. "Fine," Kane squeaks. "Sarah, you're crushing me," he breathes out. Sarah finally lets go of him, and Kane takes in a large breath. A police officer walks up to Kane. "So this is your friend who got assaulted?" Kevin nods. "Yes, sir. We were all witness to it. You can even see the bruises on his face." I squeeze Kane's hand, not wanting him to feel alone. Alright, you're gonna have to come down to the station to put in a statement, as well as take some pictures of your wounds. Kane's eyes flickered to mine, still looking a little lost. It's okay, I'm going with you, I reassure him. Sarah bumped his shoulder with her hand. Yeah, we all are. That asshole needs to be arrested. Agreed, Kevin pipes in. I can't just leave the store unattended, though, Kane mentions, a little conflicted. You just did. Don't worry about that. We'll just lock it up and let your manager know, I say. Can I take a look at the security footage as well? Asks the officer. Yeah, it's in the back, says Kane. At last, Kane releases my hand as he leads the police officer towards the back room. True to our word, we go to the police station with Kane, putting down our own statements. I'm with him every step of the way. We're not going to let Thomas get away with this. This time, Kane's got friends. Good shit. Good shit. Alright. We're getting there. We're getting there. After our stop at the police station, we all dropped Kane off at his apartment. I didn't want to leave him alone yet. No one does. You have a very tiny apartment, Sarah remarks, looking around. Kane, sitting on the bed, simply shoots her a dirty look. It's because you're all too big. You're filling up the place. I can't help but snort at his remark. At least his spirits are higher if he can joke like that. Sarah scoffs indignantly. Why, I never. I hope when I sneeze, it's right in your face. Speaking of faces, why don't we get you cleaned up? I ask, looking at Kane. Here are the bandages we bought, along with cold medicine for Sarah, says Kevin as he hands me the bag. I don't need that, Kane immediately refuses. Kevin looks crestfallen that his help is being denied. Yes, he does, I say as I take the bag from Kevin. Or you can just have Valky kiss it better for you, chuckles Sarah. Kane flashes her a defiant pout. He looks like a broken puppy. It's hard having to resist pinching his cheek when I know that's where he's been hit. Come on, we can do it in the bathroom, I say with a smile. You mean kiss? Kevin pipes up, confused. Kane's eyes widen and so do mine. With a groan, he gets up from the bed and snatches my hand, tugging me towards the bathroom. Kane drops my hand and sighs out loud when we enter. If you wanted to kiss me that bad, all you had to do was ask, I joke. Kane's face starts to turn a little redder than it already is. Shut up, he complains, that's not it. Then why? I ask, feigning innocence. Because it's embarrassing in front of them, he admits. I can't help but giggle. I'm glad he's worrying about embarrassing and non-consequential issues like these instead of what transpired a couple of hours before. How about we clean up your face instead? I ask with another giggle. I don't want any bandages on my face. We'll see. Can you sit down? Kane puts down the lid of the toilet seat and plops down. He looks up at me, blinking expectantly. First, let's clean away the blood. He averts his eyes. Didn't realize I was bleeding. Really? I'm surprised he didn't taste it, as it's right on his bottom lip. I extend out my hand and softly brush my thumb over his lips. Kane immediately sits up straight with a gulp. Sorry, did that hurt? I ask, pulling back. Meekly, he looks away from me. No, just didn't expect it, he mumbles while rubbing his lips with the back of his hand. Oh, Kane looks surprised there's a smudge of blood left behind. I really was. Kane must have taken a direct blow from Thomas to get that kind of wound. I take out a small rag from the bag and wet it under the faucet. I turn back towards Kane and bend over a little to reach his face. May I? I ask, hovering the rag near his mouth. He nods his head. Softly, I dab the rag against his wound. Kane winces slightly. I take great care to go slowly, as not to hurt him. Being this close to him, I can see his right cheek is really swollen, including his eye. Most of the puffiness around his eyes is because he was crying, though. Kane eventually closes his eyes as I clean up any dirt or blood from his face. I stand back, putting down the rag. Alright, I think that's it, unless you've been hurt anywhere else. Ashamed, Kane looks down at the tiled floor. Nope, just the face. And my pride, he mumbles softly. I can't think of anything to say that would make him feel better. The only thing I can do is be here for him. Why were all of you there tonight? He asks. It's past midnight. Kevin wanted to buy some medicine for Sarah. She's coming down with a cold. And because I wanted to see you, I admit. See me? I wanted to apologize for that stupid fight we had before. I was being defensive again. I shake my head, but now's not really the right time for that. We both go quiet. A droplet of water leaks from the faucet and splatters inside the sink, echoing our silence. I didn't think you'd want to talk to me again, Kane starts softly. That I screwed everything up by insulting your designs. I bend down on one knee and grab Kane's hand within my own. No, don't think like that. You didn't do anything wrong, I say quickly. I'm just too stubborn and really can't deal with criticism all that well, I admit. Kane takes in a small breath. So you don't hate me? Of course not. A silent tear rolls from Kane's left eye. He quickly rubs it away with the cuff of his sleeve. Good, he chokes out. That feeling to protect Kane at all costs rushes through me again. I fling my arms around his small frame, embracing him. This time he doesn't struggle but reciprocates my hug, wrapping his arms around my back as well. There's a small sniff as he buries his face into my neck. Kane's body is so frail but warm. I'm glad we came over tonight. A knock on the bathroom door alerts the both of us. I was joking about that kissing thing, guys. Please let me in. I need to pee, Sarah warns us. Kane and I pull away and look at each other. Both of us break out into a grin. Sarah quickly disappears into the bathroom while Kevin stands idly near Kane's bed, as if he's too afraid to touch anything in the room for fear of messing it up. Kane takes a few steps towards Kevin. Hey, how's the hand? He asks a bit hesitantly. Kevin immediately rubs his right hand, giving Kane an awkward smile. I had no idea punching could hurt the puncher, he says with a chuckle. Honestly, I was very impressed, Kevin, I compliment him. He shyly rubs the back of his neck. Is that so? Haha. Kane stuffs his hands into his pockets, trying to appear aloof, but I know otherwise. Kane is happy Kevin intervened on his behalf. Yeah, kinda cool, Kane admits. So what exactly happened in there? Kevin decides to ask what's been on all of our minds. We weren't there when Kane made his statement. He went into a different room with the police officer. I'm just as in the dark as Kevin is. Some guy I know usually comes in with his cronies and harasses me at work, Kane starts. I'm amazed Kane is ready to talk about it. I don't know what happened, but tonight he was alone and drunk out of his mind, started yelling and breaking shit. Kane takes in a deep breath, going on about some bitch and how she cheated. I was just a convenient punching bag. I softly touch Kane's arm to let him know we're still here for him. Was he talking about Chelsea? I inquire. Beats me. He was slurring his words and didn't make any sense. Then he started throwing out punches. And this is the aftermath. Kane gestures towards himself. I'm glad we made a pit stop at your store. I hope you'll be taken care of by the police. Kevin nods at him. Sarah finally enters the room again. Ugh, guys, I'm really beat. I need to sleep. You definitely need to rest. Let me take you home, Kevin offers. We all shuffle towards the front door, getting ready to leave. Sleep well, Kane, says Sarah, smiling at him. Yeah, take it easy, Kevin adds. Kane stands there staring at the floor as if he's mentally preparing himself for something. Sarah reaches for the door and opens it. Kane starts loudly. We all turn to him. Thanks for, tonight, he grumbles. Sarah gives him a thumbs up. Any time, that's what friends are for. I'd do it all over again, I say, giving his shoulder a slight push. I might refrain from punching someone, but yeah, what Valky said, says Kevin, chuckling nervously. Kane breaks out into a genuine smile. They both leave the apartment, whereas I stay behind. Like an unspoken agreement, I stay here with Kane. I don't want to leave him alone tonight. Can I stay over tonight? I decide to ask him outright. Kane turns his head a little, raising his eyebrows. He stammers. He looks around the room, empty cans everywhere, bed unmade, pizza boxes stacked in the kitchen. It's a mess. I don't have any space for you. That's okay, we can sleep in the same bed. Kane clamps his mouth shut, suddenly acting very shy. It's not like we haven't slept in the same bed before. I bat my eyelashes at him. I just really don't want to leave you alone tonight. Kane pouts at me, giving in to my demands. I hate how I can't say no to you, he grumbles. I smirk at him. Are you saying you don't want me to staying over? Kane suddenly steps closer to me, tugging on my hand. Never, he admits in this serious tone. With just a single word, my heart flutters around in my chest as if I'm flying on cloud 9. Alright, I'll stay. I smile at him. I look down at my clothes. So, can I borrow a shirt of yours? Kane's already walking towards his dresser, opening up one of the drawers and digging through his clothes. Preferably something long, I point out before he gives me something that stops at my belly button. In a few seconds, Kane sticks out his hand, holding out a long yellow shirt. Here, this should fit. I take it from his hands and fold it out. It's barely long enough not to show anything indecent, but I guess it'll do. I disappear into the bathroom to get changed. Dressed in Kane's shirt, I walk out into his room. Kane's in the middle of cleaning up the place, fetching empty cans from the desk and gathering dirty clothes. He stops when he sees me. His arms are wrapped around a bundle of clothes. I pull out the hem of his shirt. It stops dangerously high on my thighs. When he notices he's been gawking at me, Kane thrusts his face into his clothes. He's hiding it from me. Sorry, he mumbles. He sneaks a peek at me through the fabric covering his face. It's just... He can't seem to finish his sentence. He looks so damn cute in my shirt. Heat rises to my cheeks. This is even worse than when I wore that nightgown in the cabin. I feel so exposed to him. But I don't want him to stop looking. That's like a fantasy of so many guys, he admits in a tiny voice. If I wasn't blushing before, I am now. I didn't know, I admit shyly. Just get into bed already, he grunts out loud. Not wanting to be told twice, I dive under the covers. It's a small bed, we would barely fit with the two of us. I bury my face into his pillow and inhale. It smells like Kane. The shirt too, it's like he's everywhere. Kane turns off the lights. There's a bunch of rustling sounds, but I can't tell what's going on in the dark. He must be getting undressed. Eventually, I feel a weight pressed down onto the mattress. Move over, says Kane. I press myself towards the wall, making room for Kane. He settles in, moving around until he's under the covers as well. His bare back touches my arms. It's really cramped. There's no way we can't touch each other like this. There's something comforting about the fact. I love touching him. My heart's beating fast, so fast lying together like this. Kane takes a deep breath and exhales, his back rising and falling. This has definitely been a hectic night. Kane? I call out to him. Hold me. There's a slight pause before he stirs and turns around to face me. My eyes are getting used to the dark, and I see him staring down at me, a serious expression gracing his face. Without a word, Kane slips an arm underneath my head and the other snakes across my body. He grabs a hold of me and pulls me into his chest. My face is pressed against his naked chest. I can hear the rhythm of his heartbeat. It's going fast, like he can't calm down. Is this another fantasy guys have? I ask in the dark of the night. Kane buries his face into my hair. I can feel the tip of his nose graze my scalp. He takes another deep breath. Yeah, he admits. Can't believe you're real, he murmurs. I curl up against Kane, wanting to hang on to this feeling that's brewing inside of me. I really am in love with this redhead. My heart is yearning for him. I want to tell him. Good night, he whispers and leaves a kiss on my head. I guess for now I should let him have a good night's rest. I've got plenty of time to let him know my feelings. Sleep well, I reply. I close my eyes and lean against his chest, listening to the faint thumps of his heart. The very next day, I'm already back at my boutique, behind the register as if nothing happened last night. I'm still anxious. I don't know where Thomas is or if he'll go after Kane again. I almost wanted to skip work for today, but Kane insisted he's fine and I should go to work. Stubborn brat. My phone starts ringing. Oh, someone's calling me. Hey, it's Kane's voice. My mood instantly changes for the better now that I hear his voice. Hey, how's it going? I just got a call from the police, he says. Oh, did they follow up? Yeah, they arrested Thomas this morning, what with all the evidence we had. He's being charged for a simple misdemeanor and vandalism or something like that. I just thought I'd let you know. That's good to hear. What are they going to do with him, though? I'm not sure. I think maybe community service. He's not allowed to be around me anymore, so there's that. Good. He deserves what's coming to him. Anyways, I just wanted to let you know. Yeah, he mumbles. Thanks for the update. Have you spoken to your boss yet? He told me to take a few days off. He doesn't really seem to care, other than that. He's a pretty shitty boss. You should really find some other work, I suggest. Someday. Right now, it pays the bills. Oh right, I totally forgot. You need to pick up your ticket to the show. Fashion Week? He questions. Yep, when you've got the time. I can come over after college. I'll be there around 5. Is that okay? That's closing time for me. That's fine. Okay, see ya. Bye. I hang up the phone and take in a deep breath. So they arrested Thomas. Thank God there's something being done about him. I wonder if Chelsea knows. My finger hovers over the screen of my cell phone. Well, only one way to find out. I message Chelsea telling her she can pick up her ticket for Fashion Week. A little after closing up shop, the door opens once more. My entire stomach is lit up with butterflies when I see it's Kane. Damn, after last night it's really gotten bad. It's gotten really bad whenever I see him. Hey Kane, I greet him. His cheek is swollen even more. It looks worse than before. Well, that's what happens. That looks like it hurts, I say, pointing at his cheek. Kane stuffs his hands into his pockets and walks up to the counter. It looks worse than it is. I'm fine. Still, it saddens me to see him like this. I eventually take out the ticket I kept in a drawer behind the counter. I offer it to Kane. Here you go, a ticket for the 19th. You can go backstage with that as well. Kane takes it off my hands, looking at it with a puzzled expression. Alright, thanks. So it's in like 2 more weeks, right? He asks. I groan out loud. Don't remind me. I'm still not finished. I can still help out if you want me to, he says meekly. I won't make any more comments on your work. I clasp my hands together with a smile. No, that's okay. Please don't censor yourself around me. I close my eyes and take a deep breath. I acted irrationally and defensive. Your commentary was totally valid. I'm sorry for chasing you off. Kane sighs in relief. Okay, good, because I'm pretty sure I'm a terrible liar and wouldn't be able to keep my mouth shut anyway. I laugh out loud. That's just like Kane. He's too blunt. The door chimes. A customer walks in. I thought you were closed, asks Kane, looking up. Oh, it's you, he says, surprised to see Chelsea standing in my boutique. Hi, she says awkwardly. I'm here for the ticket? I figured I'd drop by on my way from college. Yep, I got one for you right here. I take out the ticket and hand it over. Chelsea then finally notices Kane's face. What the hell happened to you? She asks, looking a little disgusted. Why don't you ask your boyfriend? He huffs loudly. Thomas did that. She sounds genuinely surprised. You didn't know? It happened last night. Thomas trashed Boone Mart and beat Kane, I say. Chelsea shakes her head, gripping the ticket tightly. I broke up with him 2 days ago, she admits. He was screaming something about cheating, Kane notes. I didn't cheat, Chelsea immediately exclaims. I just broke it off with him. I've been wanting to for a while, but Thomas is... She looks at Kane, a sadness showing through her green eyes. You know what Thomas is like. Did he find out about the miscarriage you had? I ask. Chelsea nods silently. He did. He was convinced I had cheated on him and... Chelsea rolls up the sleeve on her upper left arm, showing her bare shoulder. I gasp when I see a dark purple bruise in the shape of a handprint. She quickly rolls it down, shuffling on the spot. Is this what he's been doing to you all this time? I ask, concerned. Look, he wasn't always like this. He could actually be very sweet, Chelsea says protectively. Okay. Kane snorts loudly. Right, and I'm a space alien that can fly. Kane, I'm gonna strangle you. You're blunt, but you're a dumbass when it comes to the dynamics of an abusive relationship, okay? Guess what? It's called a trauma bond, and guess what happens to that? The trauma bond is what makes the person stay. And the only reason it's a trauma bond is because really bad things happen, and then a good thing happens, and then another bad thing happens, and then a good thing happens, and you kind of get addicted to the good. Because the bad is so bad, and then the good... But it's still fucking bad. She looks down at her hands. I don't know, something changed. He started demanding to know where I'd been or who I'd spoken to. It was little things at first. She trails off. What else could you expect from a guy like him? Kane sneers. Both of you have made my life miserable, you know. Kane's got a point. You owe him an apology. Chelsea glares at me. An apology? For what? She asks indignantly. For the countless amount of times you humiliated me. For that time you pranked me in front of the whole school and posted it on social media. What the fuck did I ever do to you besides like you? He bares his fangs at her. This time Chelsea says nothing. Her lips are pressed into a thin line. Whatever Thomas did to Chelsea is obviously not right, but what she did to Kane isn't right either. Just because you're abused doesn't mean you can abuse others. Well, that's true. You don't know what it's like. When you're getting torn down by the person you love most, you seek control in other things. Anything. Anything to make you forget you're not actually in control. And I just happened to be a convenient target for you. What you did isn't right, Chelsea, I add. Chelsea doesn't respond. The air around us has gotten so tense. Kane is finally airing his grievances with his former tormentor. I didn't have any friends because of you, Kane admits, because of what you and Thomas did to me. I thought that when I started college I'd be done with all that shit. But no, you found out where I worked and continued to torment me there. This time Chelsea does look guilty. Kane's words are finally getting through to her. Thomas is a bag of dicks and him hitting you is obviously not okay, but am I not worthy of an apology? He huffs. He's got a point. Did it ever even bother you as much as it bothered me? This time his voice is quiet, soft, like he's on the verge of crying. What I didn't expect was to see Chelsea cry instead. Her eyes immediately tear up and her lips start to tremble. I'm sorry, she wipes away her tears. I didn't mean to turn out this hateful. I'm sorry. She then buries her face into her hands. I'm sorry, excuse me. Chelsea practically flees my boutique. Kane and I are left behind, staring at the front door. Did you have to make her cry? I ask. Kane narrows his eyes at me. Forget it. Did it feel good to get that off your chest? A little. Things are going to be different now. Thomas won't be around anymore and Chelsea, well, I think she'll turn over a new leaf. I smile at Kane, hoping he'll see the positive side of all this. Didn't make me feel better though, he admits. What would? Kane takes a moment to think. Punch Thomas in his balls? He then nods to himself with more confidence. Yes, a punch in the balls, definitely. I giggle at his reaction. I hope we'll never have to see Thomas again. Foreshadowing, foreshadowing, foreshadowing. There's so much foreshadowing. Alright. I'll see you in the next one.